All right. Welcoming to the stage, Catherine Jodar, our next speaker here. Thank you, Sandra, for keeping everything running so smoothly behind the scenes. We're talking coping with chaos and uncertainty for Canadian mining companies. And Catherine is a veteran of the mining industry through her international communication expertise. She's been working with mining professionals to help them gain that lingual efficiency that allows them to participate in mining all over the world, across international borders. So her team provides savvy and effective language training for multinational executives or professionals. They're called Language Advantage. And she is here to explain why language is an advantage and it matters so much in our current environment, our current moment, where we've got a lot of moving parts and a lot of uncertainty going on. So welcome, bienvenue, Catherine. Always lovely to see you. I want to hear your thoughts on why communication is important at a time like this.
Yeah, merci beaucoup. Thank you so much, Erica. It's really nice to be part of this event and share and learn at the same time. I love it. So merci beaucoup. Yes, so communication affects everything, in fact, from incident prevention to operational efficiency and employee retention. So communication is critical in mining because due to its high risk, fast-paced environments, a single, miscommunication can lead to serious injury or break a deal, break, the connection between teams. So, and even, like in 2022, Grammarly did a survey, and it really cost a lot of money. They in that survey, they were able to find that approximately miscommunication cost up to 12,000 US dollar per employee per year. So it's a lot of money that is lost because due to this miscommunication. And consequently, effective communication helps build trust, enhance collaboration, and can convey complex technical and non-technical information across diverse roles. I'm sorry, my cat is coming back.
This is a part of the world we live in now. Cats now happen, don't they, during these events? That's fine. That's fine. We're inclusive. That's no problem. I think that's a very interesting statistic there. You said $12,000 a year is
Yes,
a
it's
cost
huge.
of poor communication.
Yes,
Huh.
yes. And now there's a latest Grammarly study that says because AI is coming with a huge force, that in fact is not, and we are bombarded with so many information that what is going to matter, in fact, is better communication, but not more communication. It's how we're going to need to decrease the amount of communication, but being able to communicate better.
Absolutely. Yeah, I resonate with that very strongly myself, Catherine. I'm sure lots of us do, that there's sort of this barrage of information coming at us that maybe our brains are not ready for yet. I think I heard a statistic in, sort of 100 years ago, we were taking in about 2 megabytes of information every day, and now it's 76. Like it's just absolutely exploded, the amount of
Indeed.
information. So communication could be seen, in today's context as a way to stand out from the noise. How can we improve the quality of that communication? And you brought up AI. I mean, this is something that's kind of ubiquitous, and people think, oh, just get AI to do it. It's no problem. It's just as good. What happens though? I mean, I know this is a little bit of a negative question, but from your perspective as an expert in quality of communication, not just volume, but making sure that this really happens properly, what are some of those risks or some of those challenges with integrating AI technologies?
Yes, definitely. This is the big question nowadays for every company everywhere in the world, because AI is moving so fast. Sure, the good things about AI, it helps, to improve, it's a communication with safety, efficiency to a certain degree, and sustainability. Like, for example, with generative AI, you can write emails, report, summarize meeting, translate messages, handle high volume of communication. But there's four big risk, in fact. And so the first one is over-reliance and critical thinking decline. So we see now more if people are only using AI to communicate or to share, it's reduced their cognitive engagement and critical thinking. And so there's a loss of depth, nuance, and being able to question or challenge ideas. And if employees are letting these devices think for them, their intellectual autonomy is declining as well. So that's the first big risk. The second one is downscaling and mask gaps. So that is if skill now development is replaced by AI, what happened is that the long-term employee it leads to long-term employee stagnation because they don't evolve, because they rely too much on these tools. Genuine learning and personal expression decline because they're not able to engage. And also it masks weak communication skills. And that shows, because we receive all these emails, we are mostly, in writing and etc. But when we have to deal in real, conversing with someone, this is where you see that the communication is breaking down because they don't have the words or they don't have the way to interpret what is saying, or they respond to in a way that is completely inappropriate to the current situation. So this is the second big risk. The third is interpersonal and intercultural communication breakdown. Because, in mining, people are coming from different parts of the world. So if you have a weak language fluency, you cannot interact and you cannot understand, what the other is saying. And that leads to misunderstandings and also, when you're not able to express what you see, what you feel, and how you want to engage, it decreases and diminishes empathy, spontaneity, and adaptability. And so that is what is also at risk, that we become people who don't have depth, like we just like little robot, pretending to know it all, but we don't know, and declining and like eroding our skills. And then the fourth one is the cognitive and neurological concerns, because extended mind dependency, and we see it already with social media, I'm sure you're well aware, reduce independent thought. And if you don't exercise, your way, being able to create your own thought and being able to convey this message that is understood by people, what happens in the research that they've done, that AI overuse leads to scattered attention. This is similar to what's happening with social media, and reduced focus again, and weakens the memory and reasoning. So we just now starting to notice these changes, and the long-term impacts we don't know yet, so but it's you see that there's small red flags happening, that the humanity, what makes us being human is in danger to a certain degree. So in summary, what companies, like, sure, AI can boost efficiency, but have also to really understand that over dependence poses serious risk. And so companies have to find a balance between using AI to enhance, but not replace human capabilities, definitely.
Thank
Yeah.
you for all of that, Catherine. You just dropped so much knowledge on us. That was amazing. I mean, to think about the full picture of this, and
Yes.
I'm sure lots of us listening on the call here can really relate to individual pieces of that. I know sometimes when I read things, mainly I'm on LinkedIn for social media,
Yes.
if I read something and you start to get a feeling, it's just a sense of
Yes.
like, there's nobody home in those words. You can
Yes.
maybe pretty likely conclude that it was written with AI. And when you're
Yes.
talking about losing that depth and that nuance and losing the ability to focus, I mean, these are all different things I'm sure a lot of us are thinking about for our own brains, as well as if we
Yes.
happen to be raising humans, right? All of
Yes.
this is kind of a working experiment. It's also new. And I really appreciate you laying out what the data are saying so far, because a lot
Yes.
of the time we're just jumping on the next thing. We're trying to keep up, maybe not
Yes.
necessarily taking a moment to think about, well, should we use this, or what could it do to us? We never want to be anti-progress, and we never want to
Yes.
fail to innovate or try things.
Yeah.
But there is a pretty consistent sort of theme throughout history. I think anytime we come up with a new innovation, we use it for a little while, kind of at our own risk. It's a little bit of the Wild West, right? Thinking
Yeah.
back to when cars were first invented, there were no seatbelts in them, there were no airbags in
Yes.
them, right? Those safety innovations, those measures came along later to give
Exactly.
us responsible and balanced use of those technologies. So I really appreciate you painting a picture there. Here's hoping we don't all become little robots.
Yes. Yes.
And it's also reminding me, Amanda was talking earlier about workplaces where people don't feel safe. They don't
Yes.
feel like anyone cares about them. They don't feel connected. It's occurring to me that using these technologies, maybe overusing them a little bit, or failing to balance it out with that human connection, could
Yeah.
also lead to that sense of isolation and really decrease efficiency and performance and safety in an organization, which is the opposite of what we want to do, right?
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, no, definitely is that visible and invisible safety that Amanda was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Is if you cannot express, if you cannot convey the message, if you cannot challenge ideas, you've taken out the humanity, what makes us, who we are. And that's is very, very, very scary. But at the same time, what's very important is that companies, make strike the balance between the
Yes.
technology and the humanity. So what is important to understand currently, because AI is pushing, is that AI so far is not going to replace humans, but humans using AI is going to replace the people who are not using AI. So you
Mm.
have to jump into that train. You cannot. This is part of what's happening, but you have to do it companies have definitely to continue owning, human communication skills, by giving opportunities to engage, to challenge, to be in awkward situation, because this is how we learn, and build resilience and confidence. That's this is, by being in a certain situation, then you're going to use a certain vocabulary and etc, and then you're going to be able to build that strength, that inner strength that is so
Mm-hmm.
important and so human, and offer industries specific communication and language coaching to continue boost that that skill, and enhance that skill, because you need we need to have humans who are going to be like have that hybrid fluency, that they are going to be including tech skills, human insight, and ethical judgment, because we're going to need to be able to spot, because with those generative AI tools, we need to be able to spot bias, identify fake empathy, evaluate the AI generated content. We cannot say, okay, this is it. We have to read it, and we have to understand what it says and then share it, and also promote ethical and transparent AI use. And this is why companies are going to need also to have to build the framework and the guidance and equip every employee with the necessary tools to be able to do that. Otherwise, like you were saying earlier, it's going to be the Far West. Already with a lot of research, it's showing that people have, are using AI, and in some situation, it's very scary because they've been putting in Chat GPT very confidential information.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to train your people how to use this incredible tool and how to use it safely, so you don't encounter yourself in difficult situation, and at the same time help your employees to enhance their skills, because it's amazing. You just type few things, immediately in a nanosecond you have an answer. So it's a beautiful. But so to summarize, in a world where machine now can speak, it's human connection that still makes us heard. And this is why, with our language training, what we do at Language Advantage is, we personalize, we are creating emotionally intelligent language training that makes sense, that bring that value to our learners, because AI can enhance, like we can create materials, we can simulate conversation to a certain degree, but an AI tool cannot coach, and this is
Absolutely.
cannot
That's such
really,
a good point. It's
yeah,
so important to know the limitations of those technologies and where we need to double down on the human touch, the human
exactly,
factor. So
yes,
appreciate you sharing with us, Catherine.
yes.
We've put Catherine's information in the chat if you'd like to connect with her and find out more about her organization. The tagline I'm going to leave with that Catherine gave to me, which I think is fantastic: communication strategies for tech smart and people-centered business to stay connected, competitive, and future ready. Just love that, Catherine. Thank you so much for bringing your thoughts and your enthusiasm to us
Merci
today.
beaucoup. Thank you.